GimR just released the final video for Techmas, his series of 8 universal techs and optimizations for Ultimate. Links to all of those will be in the description. So put on your helmets and let's take a look at what benefits, if any, Falcon gets from all 8 of these techs. Now let's talk controllers for just a moment. I use a Pro controller, but I use a custom faceplate that has the octagon around the stick, so the stick feels like a GameCube, it's got the notches, but the buttons are Pro controller. And I'll also show my control scheme up on the screen wherever it's relevant, so you can see what the input mapper shows compared to what's actually being registered in the game. Now one more thing worth mentioning is I do have some hand problems. My muscle memory just kind of is what it is at this point. A lot of these methods that GimR shows off are all about consistency and comfort. And so my experience with those may not exactly line up with how you experience it. You may get more out of it than I will. So definitely try all of these for yourself. Don't take my word for it at face value. Now the first day of Techmas was double shield canceling so that you can get some nice IDJs and good stuff out of that, right? Now Falcon's dash shield is one of the worst in the entire game. It covers a ton of distance, so he's not going to be able to use his shield to position himself for these IDJs very well. There's situations where you're already going to be in shield, and then you can use it out of that, but you're not generally going to be able to use this to set up some IDJs raw in neutral. All that said, Falcon does have a few raw IDJ setups that are not too bad in neutral. We'll go over a couple of them here. Number 1, you can do IDJ back air, buffer a fast fall, and buffer a nair 1 to get a perfect -4 on shield. Number 2, you can get a scarb if you do IDJ nair, buffer fast fall, and then buffer side B. Comes out at the perfect height. Shout out to Teaspoon for finding this setup way back in the day. Number 3, when they're on a platform above you, you can do an IDJ back air and buffer an aerial Falcon kick and break a shield in one go. Now GimR also covered frame 1 aerial up Bs out of shield using double shield canceling. That's actually slightly worse than a Tokyo Drift with the old method, because you have to point your stick up at the start to begin the up B, which means that you spend a little bit less time holding forward. It cuts down in your range just by a little bit. It's not really noticeable. If you like doing it this way, go for it. You're not really going to lose out on much, but it is a slight distance loss. On the second day of Techmas, GimR covered ledge regrab traps. So if you're playing Falcon and they're regrabbing ledge and you're not going for down air, what are you doing? So everything here is going to just assume that you went for the stomp and then missed. You're going to get more mileage off of this tech with active long-lasting hitboxes, and Falcon is kind of lacking in those, so I think there's only 2 setups worth mentioning. Number 1 is the really consistent option. You can just get into this position and rapid jab, and it covers every traditional ledge option. The second option is more high risk, high reward. If they buffer an option after the regrab, up smash can potentially catch every option for certain characters. This one I'm less sure of though, because the timing will change depending on how early or late your stomp attempt was. The third day of Techmas was buffered shield shifting. For buffered shield shifting to matter, you need to be able to act for at least 1 frame before your opponent can, and Falcon's grounded options are generally too unsafe on shield to use this. The biggest hurtbox shift that Falcon can do is shift forward, so this is only useful if he's already got his back turned to the opponent. Back air into tilt forward is definitely worth using. I used to use it against Palutena's old shield grab before they nerfed it. Trying to avoid parts of rising multi-hits the way GimR showed off in his video is just going to get Falcon's head poked, so don't bother with that, you're just going to get hit. Day 4 of Techmas was the ledge slip macro, and this was really interesting. It's actually completely obsolete for Falcon. It takes Falcon so long to enter his run animation, and his dash covers so much ground, that it's actually just faster to foxtrot 2 or 3 times and cover the whole stage. You can cut the skid completely and save a few frames with a simpler input. You can even see it in GimR's own video. He never skids, it's just a single dash into crouch. Hey, Editor GNG here. It's definitely possible that I'm misunderstanding something here. Since Falcon's raw ledge trump is so bad, I've been using dash into crouch into ledge slip ever since Jonas first put out his video out on that. So at first, I thought that GimR's vid was about the skid setup, but now I'm wondering if he was also covering the method that I've been using under the same umbrella, and it didn't register at the time because I'm just used to that. But either way, as far as Falcon is concerned, I recommend dashes and foxtrots over the run and skid method. Day 5 of Techmas is boosted pivot canceling. So Falcon only has 2 moves that allow him to slide, jab and F-tilt. Everything else locks him in place. Let's get jab out of the way. There is nothing useful here. There is, however, this dumb little gimmick where you can wrap a jab across a big enough shield. Technically though, you don't even need this tech to do it, but I wanted to show it off anyway. F-tilt is more interesting. Against certain characters, a boosted pivot reverse F-tilt has enough momentum to actually cross up shield. Falcon's lack of shield cross-up options has been holding him back for years, so this could end up being really nice. Here's a list of who the cross-up works on, courtesy of Teaspoon, who had mercy on my old man hands. I had stumbled on this tech a long time ago, but at the time it felt too precise to use in an actual match because the C-stick input has to be frame perfect. But when I went to record the footage for this video, it actually was easier than I remembered it being. The meta has come a long way since 2020, so maybe it's time to give this another shot. One major downside to this tech, besides the frame perfect C-stick input, is that it requires you to skid, which is a problem when your dash takes up a third of the stage before it turns into your run. Spot dash can be useful here to burn less stage, but it will cost a little bit more time. Day 6 of Techmas is double fast falling. With a double fast fall, Falcon's able to nair one at the perfect height for max frame advantage and a consistent -4 on shield. Sure would be cool if double fast fall worked on nair. At least double fast fall up air can land a decent -6 on shield. You won't be able to directly hit it on a short character, but you can still kinda hit their shields, so it is what it is. Full hop double fast fall knee clocks in with a consistent -10 on shield, which I think is surprisingly good. The extra shield lag from the knee has the potential to eat their out of shield punish, which may be worth something. Back air is interesting. A double fast fall back air won't do anything special, but full hop buffered fast fall bair will auto cancel, making it incredibly safe. And because it's an auto cancel, you can take advantage of the auto turn mechanic for a follow-up grab that does beat shield grab. Day 7 of Techmas is buffered reverse tilts. Now since the whole point here is to reverse the tilt, we need situations where our back is to the opponent. You can get some decent follow-up pressure after a back air or maybe after a cross-up nair. Buffered reverse down tilt has excellent hurtbox shifting and can either low profile rising aerials or continue pressuring their shield fairly safely. Now I can't believe what I'm about to say, but buffer reverse up tilt seems like it might be good too. Up tilt is surprisingly strong against grabs because of the way he shifts his leg away from the height where most grabs come out at. There's another situation where buffered reverse tilts seem promising. It's pretty similar to the Regrab ledge trap setup. After you go for a 2-frame stomp and miss, doing a backdash into a buffered up or down tilt seems pretty strong against drop jump aerials trying to whiff punish you for whiffing the dare. This is going to work better if your 2-frame attempt was early because that gives you more time to get out harm's way. I really hoped that you could threaten ledge hangs with backdash reverse down tilt. It seemed pretty promising, but it just barely doesn't reach. And lastly, this makes stomp reverse up tilt to ledge very free if anybody's still out there getting hit by that. Day 8 of Techmas is Flick SDI, or Dashwalk SDI, or GimR SDI. GimR SDI is good. There's nothing Falcon specific about this, but it's just really good. It's easier to input and more effective than normal SDI, and it's not every day that you get a direct upgrade like this, so you should just 100% go learn that immediately. And that is going to do it for this video. Definitely go show GimR some love, do all that stuff that the algorithm likes, and I will see you on the next one.